This place is my own, Penang, my new home.
Hello and welcome to Penang, my new home, the YouTube channel for people who are planning to move to Penang. Today I have an interesting topic to share with you, and it is why you shouldn't move to Penang. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not suggesting that we do not want you in Penang. No, on the other hand, we welcome you to come and live with us in Penang. Whether you want to rent properties in Penang or you want to buy properties in Penang, you want to work in Penang, you want to retire in Penang, we, the people of Penang, warmly welcome you to come over here. Having said that, we have also come across people who do not quite like the Penang experience after they have come here. So with this video, I want to give you a realistic expectation why you shouldn't move to Penang if you are not accustomed or you are not expecting what you are going to expect when you come to live in Penang. And so in this video, I'm going to go through point by point some of the things which either people from other states or people from far away encounter as a form of cultural clash when they come to live in Penang. And for these people, you might want to think twice. Maybe you should not move to Penang. Okay, so now let's get moving.
Penang, my new home.
The first point is weather. I know a lot of people, Westerners, come to Penang because they love the weather. They like that it is a perpetual summer all the time and it doesn't get too hot. Yes, it's hot, but it doesn't get too hot. And that's what a lot of Westerners love about Penang. But having said that, I have also come across Westerners who, after living in Penang for a while, decided to move home or to spend half the year in Penang and half the year elsewhere. And I'm curious to find out. And once again is the weather. Yes, they are not accustomed to having hot weather the whole year round. And well, I can say that it's not hot weather the whole year round. We have rainy season also. Right now is December. December I can consider as the coolest month of the year because we have the northeast monsoon bringing cold air from the north, and so you'll find that the skies are blue and crisp. I am accustomed to the weather in Penang. I live here my whole life, so I'm aware of even this mild adjustment or changes in the temperature. Like right now in December, as I've just said, it is cooler. And if you come into January and February, it can get very hot. Yeah, particularly in February or the end of January is so dry and hot. So those are the changes, the minor changes which I myself as a Penang person and also my fellow Malaysians will be accustomed to. However, for many Westerners, it feels like hot weather all along, all the time. And if it's not hot weather, then it's raining. And for myself, I love the rain. Yeah, because I work indoors most of the time, so I do welcome the rain. But a lot of people who have to go outside, they don't welcome the rain, of course. Especially if you have to go out to work and if you're riding the motorcycle, then you might not welcome the rain. So, but the weather in Penang is very much similar to the weather in Kuala Lumpur or even Singapore. Some people in Singapore say that, oh, Penang is hot, even hotter than Singapore. It depends on which part of Penang you are in. If you're in the city center area, then it may be very hot. But elsewhere in Penang, you will find that there are a lot of trees. Even in Georgetown itself, there are a lot of trees. And because this tree culture was inculcated to Penang by the British, the same British who decided that they should plant a lot of trees in Singapore. So if you are familiar with Penang and you go to places like Pulau Tikus and places like Scotland Road, Macalister Road, you will see that there are trees. There are very tall trees that provide shade. So those are the reasons to encounter. But having said that, weather is one thing which turn off some Westerners. They want to enjoy winter, for example. But those are sometimes the minority, because the Westerners who come to Penang and do enjoy Penang, they are in fact escaping the winter weather. They tell us, I have heard from them, that the winter where they come from is so bitter cold and it goes right into your bones. So those people don't welcome the cold weather, they welcome Penang's hot weather. And many of them can withstand hot weather more than I can. I don't understand why some Westerners will be basking under the hot sun when I would be escaping into the air-conditioned comfort of the shopping mall. So those are areas which I need to give you a realistic understanding. But it is true, if you don't like hot weather, then Penang is something that you might want to reconsider.
Penang, my new home.
The second thing which people complain about, particularly visitors or newcomers who come to live in Penang, is the traffic. Yes, the traffic is bad and it's getting worse, particularly during the rush hour. So this is something which I've heard from the complaints, not only from Westerners who come here to retire, but also from people from other states who come here to work here because they have to endure the jam. Yes, the jam in Penang is pretty bad. I know that the state government is doing things like building new highways, but often things happen at a snail pace. So construction takes forever, and we've been waiting and waiting and waiting for the LRT, for example, for years and years. So those are things which sometimes people who are coming from smaller towns in Malaysia might not want to endure the hardship of being in a jam every single day. And you're going to be in a jam where for the morning rush hour and for the evening rush hour, if you are going to use one of the major roads, in fact all the roads in Penang are going to be jammed. So that is one of the reasons where some people, particularly those from smaller towns in Malaysia, might reconsider moving to Penang because of the traffic. And I do understand that, but it's not something that I can work around for you. It is something which you have to accept if you want to come to live in Penang.
Penang, my new home.
The next point is density, which is in a way related to traffic. But here we are talking about things are so dense, so compact in Penang, and it takes some time to get accustomed to this. What I mean is that for people from smaller towns, you may be accustomed to staying in a landed property, a bungalow, a semi-detached house on the ground. Whereas when you move to Penang, you have to stay many stories high into the sky, and you feel like you are now imprisoned into a small apartment. That small apartment might even cost more than your landed property back in the state, in your own home state, somewhere else in Malaysia. And so if you are not accustomed to stay in a densely populated state such as Penang, then you may feel claustrophobic, that Penang doesn't give you the chance to breathe easily because people are so close by. And if you look all around you, you will see new condominiums still being constructed, and they are so tall. They are now over 40 stories tall. I can think that almost all the new condominiums in Penang are now about 40 stories or even more. And so for those people who are so accustomed to living in wide open spaces, that Penang might not be for you, and that would be one of the reasons why you should not be moving to Penang if that makes you feel claustrophobic.
Penang, my new home.
The next one, which is related to density, is property prices. If you are accustomed to the property prices in smaller towns in Malaysia, you may be astonished by the price of properties in Penang. So, the properties in Penang, Kuala Lumpur and Johor Bahru are some of the highest in the country. And for the case of Penang, it's understandable because we are a small state with a lot of people, and everybody is like packed into a small area of Penang Island and Penang mainland. Penang Island is not only small, but it is hilly. And so development is happening only on the lowlands, and much of the lowland areas that are developed is on the eastern coast of Penang Island. And so when everybody is squashed into this small area, for sure price of property is going to be very high. And this related to this is that price per square foot is going to be high, and the size of your apartment is going to be small. So those are the things which you need to accept in order to move to Penang. And if you are not able to, then that could be one of the reasons why you should not be moving to Penang if you enjoy a more wide open space. Having said that, for Westerners, it doesn't seem to be a large issue because you may come from a place where price of property is even higher than that in Penang, and you might find that the price of property in Penang might be lower than what you would find back home. So that might not be an entire reason, but for people from other states, yes, that could be a reason for not wanting to move to Penang.
Penang, my new home.
Penang prides itself as being the food capital of Malaysia. However, this is not a unanimous agreement. Even though a lot of Malaysians consider Penang food to be tasty, there are still people who do not like Penang food. Yes, it's true. They do not like that our food, our hawker food looks different from the hawker food they get from their own state. And this could be yourself also. You may find that our Hokkien Mee is not the same as your Hokkien Mee. Our Chee Chong Fan is not the same as your Chee Chong Fan. Our Laksa is not the same as your Laksa. And after working and living in Penang for a while, you may miss home. You may miss your Laksa, your Chee Chong Fan, and your Hokkien Mee. And you just cannot understand why is it that Penang do everything differently. Why is it that your food is also different? Maybe in the beginning, when you first started in Penang, you may enjoy the food. Yeah, the food is so tasty. But after a while, you might find that, oh, this food is so different from what you miss back home. So that might be another reason why you might not truly appreciate or enjoy Penang food. On the other hand, if you're a Westerner, you might find that the food is too spicy perhaps, or too sweet, or too salty, and too different from the food you get back home. And while we do have Western restaurants in Penang, the number of restaurants here in Penang is much less, of course, than what you would get back home. And so the choices that you have is going to be quite limited. And while this is going to be an unfair comparison, of course, the choices of Western restaurants in Penang is going to be fewer if you compare it with the Western restaurants in Kuala Lumpur or Singapore. If you are saying that, oh, Singapore has a lot more restaurants, not only Western restaurants, but you can get just about any type of food that you may think about, then I would say this would be an unfair comparison, because the cost of living, the standard of living in Penang is so much vastly different from the cost of living in Singapore. Yes, you may get even more options in Singapore, but you have to pay for all that options. But having said all that, for those people who do have that option, who can afford to live in places that gives them all the options, they may think that Penang food might not be the best choice for them. Yes, I might not be entirely agreeable to that, but I will of course greatly respect their decision that Penang is not for them because they are not accustomed to Penang food.
Penang, my new home.
Another point which is strange, and this is particular to the Malaysian Chinese, the Chinese Malaysians who move to Penang, some of them are not fitting in well because of the language. In Penang, we speak Penang Hokkien, but you may come from a place where Penang Hokkien is not spoken. Maybe over there in your town, it is Klang Hokkien that is spoken, or Mua Hokkien, or maybe it is Cantonese spoken, and then you come to Penang and you feel very out of place. not in the office environment where English is used, but when you go to the market and you hear that, or maybe to the coffee shop, and you need to order something in the local language, and the hawker all speak Hokkien, and you feel very out of place because you do not speak that language, and that feeling of alienation may make you consider that Penang might not be a good choice for you to move over here. Well, of course, apart from Penang Hokkien, most of the Chinese in Penang speak also Mandarin. They speak very well Mandarin, and many of them speak English and even Bahasa Malaysia. So those are other languages that you can use. But of course, I do admit that even I myself am popularizing and developing Penang Hokkien to make sure that it doesn't become extinct. As it is already becoming an endangered language, and we are popularizing it so that more people will use the language. But if this results in a feeling of alienation for you, my hope is that you would be accepting of Penang Hokkien and learn it, because I have a whole YouTube channel just to teach you Penang Hokkien with videos on the grammar and on conversation and everything else that you might want to know about Penang Hokkien. I even have a Facebook group with over 19,000 members, all Penang Hokkien enthusiasts. So what I'm trying to say is that we want you to feel at home with our language. We take pride that if anybody else, whether you are a Chinese from other states in Malaysia, whether you are a Malaysian, whether you are a foreigner, if you would harbor a curiosity to learn our language, it makes us so proud to teach you our language. The dictionary is there, the lessons are there, and it's all free of charge for you to use. But of course, having said that, I cannot overcome your fear of our language or the feeling of alienation in listening to a unique language being used in Penang that is not used anywhere else outside of the northern part of West Malaysia. So that I would understand if that would be your reason of not moving to Penang.
Penang, my new home.
When we look at the issue of why you shouldn't move to Penang, I would say that for every single person who says that he doesn't like staying in Penang, there would be as many reasons as those people. Because every single person who has an idea of why they shouldn't be moving to Penang would have his own reasons, and those reasons could be a combination of all the major reasons which I have given to you earlier. Of course, in Penang, we do welcome everybody to come here. We want everybody to feel at home, even though you may be a foreigner from other countries or you are somebody from another state of Malaysia. We want you to feel warm and welcome. We want you to experience our warm Penang hospitality. But having said that, we cannot overcome some of the personal issues that you may have with Penang, which as I've listed out, whether it could be the weather, could be the traffic, could be the population density, could be the property prices, or even the food or the language. So those are the things which, while we might be astonished that could be a reason why you do not move to Penang, but on the other hand, we understand you. We understand why. If those things are of such great priority to you, then those are the reasons why you might not want to consider Penang as your new home. So, my friend, that's our video for today. I hope you enjoy it, and I would love to hear your opinion too. Please, if you can take a moment to write your opinion about should people move to Penang, and the reasons which I have given, are there any other reasons that you can think of why people would not want to move to Penang? Please put it in the comment below so that we can all share and learn from each other. And I hope to create for you other videos about living in Penang or moving to Penang. So, my friend, thank you very much for watching this channel, Penang My New Home. And please don't forget to subscribe, and I look forward to meeting up with you in the next video. Until then, please click on the thumbnail for the next video, and I'll be seeing you there.
Penang, my new home. Wherever I roam, This place is my own.